This
Thank you. Thank
conference
you.
will now be
Okay.
recorded.
All right, we are ready to go. We'll wait another minute. Just let more people file in. This room is filling up quickly. We got a lot to cover, a lot to get to. Perfect day because we don't have pretty much anything to bet as far as going on today. Yeah, a couple summer league and some smaller market stuff, but perfect time to get down stuff like our futures and good opportunity to prep for what's ahead because we got a lot coming up. So let me just wait another minute as people keep filing in. Thank you for your time, and it will be well worth it. That much I can promise you. What I ask is, I'm here to answer your questions. Like, you have access to me where a company reached out and wanted to see if I was interested in offering like a subscription. I think you pay per minute and people get to talk to you over the phone. They have different specialists in different fields. Anyway, to make a long story short, this is being offered to you here. I'm at your disposal. Any question you ever had, you are free to ask. No one else will ever see it except me. You could even have it where it's no name. Like, I have no problems with that. I will never call anyone out. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The foolishness is in not asking something you're not sure about. Because again, ignorance we take as a bad word, and it simply means you just haven't been taught yet. You haven't learned yet. So there's nothing wrong with being ignorant in something. The bad is staying ignorant. And that changes if you ask questions. Forgive me, I'm going to keep looking at this screen to my side as I'll share with you real quickly. I have I made a bad trade, and I'm going to explain that to you guys a little later. Where even today, every day I'm fighting my inner demons, and a simple mistake where I could have covered up a hole and lost about $700, maybe $1,000. I'm now down. I'll tell you right now. This trade is now down as of this second, $10,957.50. So 10x ago, I could have got out of that trade and just lost $1,000. And I'm sharing that as to show you that no matter how long you've done this, if you don't continue to focus on what matters most, don't lose money, everything else isn't going to mean shit. That's the number one area that we need to focus on. So let's get this day started. It's Thursday. We started 6 days ago was our last one, 7 days ago. So like we always do, let's rewind. Now I think we lost yesterday. So the last 3 days, the smallest sample size probably shouldn't look too impressive. Let's see where that is. Okay. Oh yeah, we're minus 4.35 units. Uh-oh, if you're day in, day out, I burned you because I'm 2, 3, and 1 with a minus 29% ROI over those 3 days. I'm terrible. I suck at what I do, right? Of course not. That's the equivalent of someone bragging that they're 6-0. Do you understand where I'm getting at? That's the result of 6 bets in the last 3 days, and I'm 2, 3, and 1. On the flip side of this same coin, there's someone that went 6-0, and they're touting that, and they're getting unsuspecting bettors to think that matters. It doesn't. Here's what else doesn't matter, to be honest with you, and that's the last 7 days, because the sample size is just way too small to mean much at all. But fortunately, we've had a good 7 days. We picked up 16.84 units since last week with a 17.7% ROI. Now, we know we only do a quarter Kelly, baby, quarter Kelly criteria. We don't bet the whole percentage. So a quarter of 16 units, we picked up 4 positions. That's another 4 positions ahead of the bookmaker we could tuck away and put in our back pocket. Now, let's look at the last 30 days. Last 30 days, I've given out 170 bets overall. That's like 5, 6 plays a day, 5.5 plays a day. That's not high volume. especially when we're betting multiple markets. You should be able to handle that and not get buried when I'm cold, and you're not going to make a mint when I'm hot, but you should be able to maintain that kind of volume pretty easily. And now year to date, which matters more than anything else, we're at 282.15 units, 280 plus units. And I've given out 1,800 bets with a 5.1% ROI. I could sustain that forever. I told you that 8 years ago. That's my aim. That's all the groups that I worked with. Sure, they have months where they're 30% up, 30% down ROI. They even have some seasons, some markets, some years. But overall, the big sample size, they're all about 5% ROI, which with that kind of return on investment, you could get wealthy pretty fast if you manage risk correctly. To put that in perspective, the MIT card accounting crew had about a 1.5%, 2% edge they were working with. So believe me, that is enough to do extremely well. So what does that mean? 282 units. Simply put, this is what it means. If you have a $10,000 bankroll, then you've been following my suggested bet sizing. And now we're going to start off with that. The morning stretches, our calisthenics. You need to start every day with this buried in your brain. 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25%. That's the percentage of our bankroll that we're betting based on the rating I send out. So when I send out a 4% play, that's not 4%. It's 0.25 of 4%, which is 1%. Because if you bet 4% per play, 5% per play, you will go broke. I cannot help you. These units I won, you will not win. That much I can promise you. We will have a negative little variance stretch and it'll wipe you out. And then 2-3 weeks later, you'll still see me talking about how, okay, we're up now 150 units instead of 200 units. And unnecessarily, it will have broken so many bettors because, again, when you're winning, it's easy. Right now, we're winning. This is easy. It's easy to bet more than you should. It's easy to overlook how difficult this is. You can't do that. This business will humble you quicker than any other I know of. And let me show you a perfect example of that. 2022, just last year, I was going into November, I believe, #1 in profit. So November 1st, probably October 30th, the last week of October, I was top 3, top 5 for sure, if not #1. Here's what happened between October 1st, November 1st, and December 31st. I lost 195 units, okay, with a 50% win percentage. So I was a coin flipper, okay, over that stretch. That's 195 units I lost. Now, even if you've been paying attention and betting correctly, a quarter of that's still about 50 units. So we got buried over those last 2 months. Here's the flip side of that. Since that time, we have rebounded to where we've recovered it and are up. Now, if you didn't manage your bankroll correctly, you went broke somewhere in November and December and reminded me of how terrible I was and how I suck and how my data and results are all lies and how the other 30 handicappers at WagerTalk are all in on this scam. And for some reason, they want me to be the #1 profit guy. So they let me cheat on my record. Supposedly, that's what some believe. Anyway, it just makes no sense because we're all vying for that top spot. So believe me, I'm the most scrutinized guy. If a grade is even marked a push instead of a loss by accident, they'll get 20 emails within 30 minutes to remind them that they made a mistake on my results. So rest assured, my results are what they are. And it's, again, not a brag. If anything, I'm telling you, this happens even within winning information. But what I did was changed everything. Once that happened, once I saw in 2 months how much devastation can occur, and I saw that it wiped out a lot of my subscribers, I had to change that. And that's why we're here in this room. I don't push any day shit anymore. I don't have that pressure. I don't have to put out a 5% play and market it, tweet it. In fact, the last 2 5% plays I released, I didn't even sell. They went 2-0 and my subscribers only got them, the people in this room. And I have no problems with that. I told you, my goal is to take those bettors that do want to use this as an investment vehicle and make it profitable for them. And as long as they do what I ask of them, that's exactly what's going to happen. I wish I could bet for them. It would be so easy. I would just say, this is the bet size, and check in every 2 months, check in every 60 days, check in every 90 days and see where your account is. I wish, who knows, maybe in the future it gets to a point where you can do something like that easily. But the reason I'm bringing that up is to tell you, we are doing so well this year. And no matter when you joined, whether you joined last week, 2 months ago, or at the beginning of the year, is irrelevant. What matters most is that you bet size correctly, so as we move forward, you're able to take those gains, because it's not going to stop. This will not change. I told you in 2017 when I sat down with Kelly, I will win long term every year. And I can't guarantee that, but 7 of 8, that's what happened. And we're going to keep doing that. Again, I don't want to get into pushing that kind of stuff, but what matters most is I need you to focus on the long term. And I need you to remember, we only bet 1/4 of the rating. More importantly, you already established your bet size for the year, and you don't change that unless you're up or down 50%. That's the rule. Listen, I lost a lot of money to get to where I can bet size correctly. You could avoid all of that. I learned from the market. You're learning for the price of a subscription. It cost me tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn this is the bet size I have to use. Because I told you, I'm not hiding the fact I had access to winning information for the last 10 years. This didn't just happen. In fact, I've had access to winning information for the last 25, 30 years of my life with my network, but I haven't been able to profit from it until this last 10 years, because I finally started applying money management correctly. Until then, I couldn't make money betting sports. It didn't matter that my football guys killed it, my NBI guys killed it, or they were profitable for the year. That was irrelevant, because if I didn't bet size correctly, somewhere along that line, I was out of action. I was out of action during the cold streak. So when they had the hot streak, I wasn't there to benefit. And that's why I bring up last November and last December, that if you got buried in November and December, you missed out on January, February, March, April, May, and June, where we picked up 280 fucking units. That's the point I'm trying to drive home. That, of course, November and December will not happen like that, because we're not betting that kind of volume anymore, okay? But we will have losing weeks, losing days, and a losing month, if not months, in every winning year. And if you can't overcome the losing month, you're not going to profit. This is all waste of your time and mine. And I don't want you to waste your time. I don't want you to waste mine. That's why I told you, if you're not well funded, this room isn't for you. If you're not ready to do it the right way, this room isn't for you. If you're not trying to increase your ROI, this room isn't for you, and that's okay. You know, do what you're doing. Hopefully one day you get to a point where you have the bankroll and you're ready to take it on the right way. Because I don't care if you have $1,000 or $100,000. If you can't apply 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25, I can't help you. Your bankroll is irrelevant to me. What matters to me is that you follow that. Remember, I told you there's two parts of the equation. This is the bankroll. This is the percentage of bankroll we bet. This could never change. You never adjust this. That's the rule. You break the rule, you lose money. Every time I lost money, it was my fault. Again, I'm down 12 dimes, 10 dimes on this trade because I broke my own rule, because I didn't do what I'm supposed to. And it's my fault. It's not the stock's fault. It's not the market's fault. It's not my mentor's fault. It's my fault. And I don't want you to be at fault. So please, 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 if anything, again, even if you're not a subscriber of mine, do it for yourself. Even if you have $500, I know it's hard to do, but even if you have $500, do not bet more than $6.50 on your best bets. You should be betting $3 to $5. And if that's not enough for you, then you need to change this. This can't change. If you change this, you'll go broke. That's what I'm telling you. I can't help you if you change this. If you increase this, I don't even email WagerTalk. Don't DM me. Don't tweet me. I can't fucking help you. Ask for your money back because you're not going to win. If you want to increase this. So I don't know whether you need to drive Uber when you have a free hour, pour drinks like I did, or whatever you need to do. But this is the only thing that could change. This can't. And more importantly, if you're using this for anything other than sports betting, you also need to realize it's going to be a hard uphill climb for you. Because again, if you treat it like a business, it'll pay like a business. And you have to be able to separate, this is for my sports betting investment. It's $5,000, that's it. I don't pay my bills from it. I don't go shopping from it when I have a good week. I don't use it for dinner. It's my investment. At the end of the year, I see what my profits are, or every 6 months. And sure, I could then put half of it back to increase my bankroll, which is reinvesting in my business. And I take the other half and I spend it and enjoy my life, or I invest in other things like art and equities and commodities and real estate. That's the easiest path to financial freedom. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So got to remember 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25. You already established that before you start, and you don't change it. Whether we're winning or losing, whether we have a winning week, a losing week, you start off Monday the same. Whether we have a losing month or winning month, unless we drop 50%, which again, this is what this room's for. I will address it every single week. I am accountable to you. I have to come in here and face you and explain to you where we are, what the goal is, where we're going. So please take this walk with me. Like, good things have come from it. For anyone that's done it the right way. I've had the pleasure of meeting a handful of guys and a girl, a woman actually, who is in this room and are doing it the right way. So I told you, those guys got a big bankroll, the two guys that I had dinner with. Someone else with a $5 bankroll that's grinding away. And next year, guess what? It's going to be a $10 bankroll. 5 years from now, if they do it right, it probably will get to a $100 bankroll. That's just because what you're doing is taking advantage of compounding interest. We're going to reinvest. We're going to reinvest our winnings, but we're going to wait till they're real winnings, till they're 50%, till the year's over. So please, again, I will go as long as I have to on this shit and take 2 minutes to give you picks. I'll give you the fucking win totals in 30 seconds. I'll give you the Heisman winner in 5 seconds. That doesn't matter. Like that's plus EV information. When the dust settles, we're going to do just fine. But I need to know you're profiting from this. And if you're not bet sizing correctly, you're not profiting from it. Right now you are, because I'm running hot and I'm the man. Things are great. This is easy. But I'm telling you, it's not, the market isn't always that easy. Okay? We will struggle as well. That's just the fact. And it shouldn't be a problem. We've had our losing days. We've had our losing week, I believe, even since we started this. And yet, what do? We're climbing higher because, like I told you, nothing goes up in a straight line. Just like stock. If you don't chop for a while and consolidate for the next leg up, there will not be another leg up. It'll just eventually drop back down. And if you've ever seen stocks that go straight up, they come straight back down. You have to consolidate and level up. You have to consolidate and level up. It's like a marathon runner. You can't keep running. Like, if you stop, you recuperate, you rehydrate. Like a human being, you and me, if we went running, you'll stop, then you could go on again. If you go until you can't anymore, what's going to happen? Eventually you can't anymore, and you just drop. But if you chop and go up, slow down, rehydrate, stretch, rest, you can run another fucking 2 hours, do it again, run another 5 hours, do it again. That's what we're doing here. And what this is, why I keep repeating money management is because it has to become muscle memory. I keep bringing it back to, why do fighters go into the gym and practice the same combination 10,000 times? Is it because they weren't smart enough to learn it the first time coach showed them, or the 10th time coach showed them? No, that's not the reason. The reason is because coach knows by doing it 10,000 times, they don't have to think anymore. It's now automatic. That's just what they do. They don't know how to do anything else. So that's where I'm at right now. Like with sports betting, you see with equities, I'm still learning. But sports, what happened to me in that trade could never happen. I don't allow it to. I bet sized like I learned to bet size where I finally gained wealth from the information and from a small bankroll. Like I told you guys, I'm not fronting, man. I started 100 to 500. That's what I was betting. And to be honest with you, I probably was over betting my bankroll a little bit as well, which was a mistake. Because I can't tell you enough. I have told you this before. I've been in the pick business now for over 10 years, 13, 12, 10, 11, 12 years, something like that. I've only been able to share winning information for the last 8. Before that, I had winning info, but I didn't know how to give that to people and have them win with it. We're there now, man. You don't have to look for another source. You don't have to figure out how to win. You don't have to, you like handicap? You want to come up with your own systems? Come up with your own system. A little later, I'm going to show you something to help you win that I think is probably your best open door to becoming sharp without, like, if you don't have a math degree and can't create your own algorithms, and I mean an advanced math degree, advanced, computer degree, advanced algorithms, if you're not there, there's a pretty easy system for street guys like us who are sharp that can really pick off winners with minimal handicapping, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later. Just remind me, because again, we have the winning information. That part is done. I have contacts in MMA, in football, in tennis, in every sport. So that's been hunted down, and I'm only looking for more and more sources. And as word gets out there that Ace can get you down and guarantee you get paid, and more importantly, get you down at the price you're asking for, believe me, I am being solicited by tons. I can't even say a few. I got to say tons of winning bettors who want me to move for them. But I have a rigorous process they need to go through before I ever take on a new source of information. That's just how it works. So you guys got to understand, anything I send you has been very well vetted. We're not up by accident. This is all by design. Just like this repetition is all by design. This is not by accident. The people that are bored, I could give 2 fucks. I care about the people that I'm here to help be profitable, that aren't profitable yet, or are slightly profitable and want to increase their ROI. If there's only 2 of us in here, then guess what? Then it's just going to be me and you doing this till the end of the year, and then we'll see next year. Fortunately, as we can see, this room's filled up, so there's a lot of us. Okay, can you hear? Everything good, right? All right, all right. Now, let me go over a couple other things. There's a lot of questions, a lot of things. First things, let's knock out a couple futures and make some actionable information, some things you could bet right now. So let me see make sure that line's still where it is before I send it out. Hold on. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just pulling up future lines, so when I give them out, we all have a good average price. So just bear with me for a second as I pull these up. All right, we look good. Okay. And one more. Let me just. Okay, first thing we're going to give out is the Heisman winner. We're going to bet 1 future on the Heisman. Let me just confirm. I got 10-1, as I'll show you in a second. Let me just still confirm it's 10-1. Yes, it's 10-1. And you will see right now. There's our guy. Jaden Daniels, baby. Jaden Daniels at 10-1. At 10-1. The LSU quarterback, the transfer from Arizona State. I think he's at 10-1. It's an overlay. Like he should be around that 5-1 range. That's the only reason we are even putting out a future locking up money that far away. Like I told you guys a few weeks back, season win totals, we're going to be very, very selective. I do not want you locking up capital for 6 months unless our edge is so great that I'm not going to find better between now and then. Because what you got to remember is capitals, you need bullets. Like if you don't have bullets, you can't fire. And if you're locking up your capital in futures, you're not going to have bullets during the season when sometimes are so advantageous. So that's why we're being so selective with our season win totals. So what I'm going to do now is pull up a book that has futures as far as season win totals, and I'm going to give out a couple that we've confirmed to get down on, so we can knock that out of the way before we cover some other pressing issues. And let's not forget real quickly, because people were asking, hold on. Yeah, for you guys that are on a shorter sub, listen, I'm not upselling anybody, I promise you. What I'm telling you is if you plan on doing this long term, lock in the longest deal at the lowest price you can. Like that alone increases your ROI. It's almost like a card counter who looks to take advantage of comps. Like that increases your ROI. If I could get my room paid for, if I could get my flight paid for, if I could get food and beverage paid for, that all increases my ROI because I now don't have to pay for that. That's no longer overhead for my business. The card counting bankroll. Sports bankroll is the same thing. Your overhead is your internet, any laptops you use, your electricity, you're driving to and from the book, and source of information like me. You need to limit those as much as possible. That increases your ROI. And sometimes it hurts. You got to bite the bullet. But I did that with the stock room that I'm a subscriber of. It's a live day trading room. And I was paying monthly because I didn't want to come out of pocket. It's very expensive to come out, thousands of dollars. It's not like, you know, $50 a month subscription. These are like $1,000 a month subscriptions, some of them. And obviously they give you a great discount if you pay for the year, some up to 20% off. Now, if you're paying $1,000 a month, you're going to save $2,000 by coming up with 10 dimes instead of 1,000 a month. Is, you know, obviously I'm going to think about it, but coming out of pocket 10 dimes of capital, it's like, fuck, I know it's hard to do, but I promise you, long term, if you're going to do this the right way, if you're not committed to doing it the right way, like you don't have your proper bankroll mindset, isn't where I'm going to bet size correctly, I'm just going to take the lines I find, the lines I don't find, I don't give a shit. They're trades I'm not making. I'm only making the best freaking trades. I've seen the long-term results. I want them to match my current results, so I'm going to do this the right way. If you're there, I'm telling you, hit them up at WagerTalk, see what you could work out. Gianni will work with you, because bringing down your price for a subscription will be very beneficial to your overall success, because it's not going to be costing you every month coming out of money and stuff. And again, I'm not trying to upsell. If anything, I make more if you go monthly than if you go long term, to be honest with you. But my goal, I hope you've seen that, is to make this a win-win for all involved. So we got our Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels from LSU. And let's not forget, I gave you Georgia as the SEC winner. And I told you, Georgia's one of those even money small dog to win the SEC when I bet it, or was it 2-1? So we have a shot to sprinkle on a long shot. I went with LSU as my long shot. So hopefully there is some good luck there. Now let me pull up my lines, because I'm going to give them out as we are doing this right now. And get used to it, because when football comes, we're going to be firing. Like right now, I don't have any plays coming in. I'm looking at a force of habit in the back ends, and it's like, dude, what the fuck are you looking for? Nothing's going to come up. Let me see now what we got. Okay, NCAA. Oh, team wins. Okay, my block. She's getting old, man. I think I got to start wearing my glasses. I start wearing glasses, I think, right? All right. Regular season wins. Here we go. Here we go. Get your pens out. Get your pens out. We're going to look at what is premium. So far, we have over. This is what we've confirmed so far. These are our premium plays that we've already got down on to date. Hold on, shit's coming in from everywhere. Okay. All right, here we go. So far, we have in the NFL, we have over 9.5, minus 150 on the Dallas Cowboys. We have under 8, minus 120 on the New York Giants. Both 4% plays. That means you're tying up 1% of your bankroll. College football so far, Washington Huskies, over 9, minus 140. Fresno State, under 8.5, minus 150. Both 4% plays, so 1% of our bankroll. A little chalky, as I've explained to you. I wait for confirmation, and I have no problem taking the second number, having done this long enough to know when they're still EV. And I think I've proven that over these last 8 years by being able to release a ton of plays where they don't get a ton of CLV with great results. Where, sure, there's a lot of our plays that do get a lot of CLV also, but being able to piggyback a move that still offers some EV has been key to our success, and that took a lot of time to master. So let me move down and let me see this first one if we can get it out to you. Get to the Pac-12. Let's get them out of the way. Nope, that line's moving. You're going to have some patience as I hunt these down for you because we do it in real time here. All right, here we go. You ready? UTSA. UTSA, that's Texas San Antonio. We're going over 7.5, over 7.5. Currently minus 140. We are good to minus 150. In fact, I will grade at minus 150 so that you get some CLV for sure as well. So UTSA over 7.5 up to minus 150, 4%, which means 1% of our bankroll. Let me move up a little more. And when we have NFL Sundays, there'll be how could I put it? I'll be able to give you a window of what we're good till. You know what I mean? Because again, we're betting now money lines. With point spreads, it's really going to matter. With totals, it's really going to matter. It matters with money lines as well. But the difference between a minus 140 and 145 isn't as significant as even laying 5.5 instead of 5, where a loss you could lose instead of a push. So we're going to have to be very cautious there. And I'm here to walk us right through it. IJ, okay, that's not readily available, so I can't give that one out. We're looking at Jacksonville State. If you could find Jacksonville State under 5, minus 130. I will not use that as a premium play. It's just not a win total that's available in a ton of places. Like right now, I'm looking at Bet Online, and I'm even looking at one of my off screen shops, and both of them don't have Jacksonville State. So I'm not going to send something like that out, knowing so few of you are able to take advantage. So if you could use it, use it. Next up, we're not going to have many. Again, we're only narrowing it down to the top. Okay, that one moved too. It was Tulane. If you could get a 10 on Tulane, it's worth locking up 1%, even up to minus 130. If you could get 10. Right now, I'm seeing so many 9.5s, I just can't send it out. I have 110. So yeah, we're not going to use Tulane as a premium play. But so you know, Tulane, I bet it for what I'm sharing you right now are what groups gave me that I actually got down for them. And so you see, I got down exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I bet 23, 24 actually with Texas to win the Big 12. Yeah, and Dan, 25 futures so far for different groups that bet college football. So you understand. Again, a lot of them obviously they're super funded, so they could afford to lock up that much money that far in advance. But more importantly, when the betting syndicates, a lot of them are going to take advantage of every edge. It's the smallest edges to the biggest edges. They're funded like that, where most even serious bettors aren't. We're waiting for the biggest edges, the greatest advantages to get our money in, because we know we'll never turn the odds completely to our favor, but we're looking for at least 55-45. These guys are good 52-48, 51-49. They're comfortable with it if the big makes sense. They're looking for just small edges because they're betting big money. So if you're able to do that, it don't matter how small the edge is. If you're betting a lot of capital, you're getting a return on it. So be very cautious. I'm going to share these, but I recommend the ones that I'm not confirming as premium, because those are the ones that I graphed like I do. I price checked. I did a little research on their how they last year's win total compares to this year's win total, how they did last year, the offense and defense, how the changes have affected the team, the power ratings, like all that has been factored in. And like I'm telling you, there's only a handful that I'm willing to back with my money, but I will share as much as I can with you because I know a lot of you guys handicap your own shit. So maybe it'll help you win. But please, I just don't want anyone getting in trouble betting more than they should, more stuff than they should. Okay, we got another one here that we are going to get down. Independence, at the Independence, going to look at New Mexico State to win 6 games. We're going over 5.5 in New Mexico State. Over 5.5, New Mexico State. You shouldn't have to pay more than 135. I'm seeing 130s out there even. I'm going to put it out at 135 so that you get a little CLV as well. So we're going to go New Mexico State over 5.5 minus 135. So we got Jaden Daniels to win the Heisman at 10-1. And that one, we said a 2% play. So that's a 0.5%. If you got, what, 10 dimes, you're betting $50. You got 10 dime bankroll, you're betting $50 to win 500, which is awesome because that's like 4 or 5% positions if it hits for that 10 dime bankroll. That's how you got to be looking at it. Don't compare to anyone else. Compare yourself to yourself. I keep saying that. Compare yourself to yourself 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago. Have you evolved? Have you improved? Everyone has different circumstances, different life, everything, upbringing. So you can't compare yourself to anyone else. Just keep doing it to yourself. And as long as you're improving, you're doing the right thing. So we got Daniels, got over in Washington, under in Fresno, over in Texas San Antonio, over in New Mexico State. And let me look at 2 or 3 more of the strongest before I just start rattling off some goals for you guys to pick off. Okay? Okay. Yeah, see, we didn't get there. Arizona State under is a strong play, man. If you could get 5 on Arizona State under at less than 150, where 6 out of 10 times. Yeah, if you could get 5, under 5 on Arizona State, yeah, under 5, go to 140, and you got a good bet. Go to 140 on Arizona State under 5, and you got a hell of a bet if you could find it. If it's available to you, I'd recommend the 1%. That's what I'm going to tell you, the ones that I actually are worthy, but I just cannot release because I don't see the number readily available for enough people. I need to balance that out and make sure enough of you guys can get down. And don't worry, keep the questions coming because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and answer every single freaking one because that's what we do here. And the guy that wanted me to go over the BTC chart, I will do that as well, brother. I will pull up that Bitcoin chart and break it down for you. But first, let's get the sports all out of the way. Continue with the college win totals. We got a Kansas State win total for Kelly in Vegas. Oh, they're going under here. They went under 8.5. You can now go under 8. If you can get plus money, it's a good bet because they went over 8.5 at like 140. So if you could go under 8 at plus money, and you like that bet, there's some EV there. Like I said, I'm narrowing it down to ones I think are the greatest edges, and those are what I'm releasing to subscribers. Again, you remember what I said with this subscription? We created this with the confidence that it will be profitable. I am accountable, so I will not take chances just throwing out a play. I have to put it through increase the scrutiny that on every release, and you could tell by the volume, right? So yeah, Kansas State under. If you can get 8 at plus money, I think it's worth a shot for those guys. Let me keep going. No. Yeah, another. Yeah, again, UNLV under got blasted. Stay away from it. It moved the whole game, and I've even seen people giving it out now, steam chasing that one. I highly recommend staying away from it. I really do. Pitt over is now up to minus 200. These guys bet up to minus 150, they bet it. So that's a 7% increase on implied win probability, okay? I thought they had about a 10% edge there going in on the original at that 6.5 minus 150. I thought there was a nice enough edge where, believe it or not, minus 200 isn't, it's chalky. But compared on true implied win probability, I don't think you're taking the worst of it. I think that has a higher probability of cashing than 67% that Pittsburgh wins 7 games. I really do. Yeah, that's one that we may revisit. Let's see if some big drops, and we still have a couple weeks. So keep these on the radar. The ones that I'm sharing, keep these on the radar. You may see a premium come out because I keep my list on the side. And just like I do with stock, and if it hits my price, I buy. That's it. Pretty easy. Okay, nothing there, nothing there. No. Yeah, have some patience. Have some patience. Yeah, another one that got blasted. I can't believe bettors are still betting it over in Louisville. Let me tell you, the first group that got down betted at 7, over 7, so you understand. The very first bet was over 7. Now, again, I wasn't releasing season win totals so far out because I know a lot of times they're not legit positions. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. That's why there's 60 plays. And you start seeing some take back on the other side, especially when a win total moves through a game. Like you got Louisville going from 7 to 8.5. Like I would not be surprised to see an under 8.5 plus 125 buy order from the same group that went over 7 at minus 140 for some take back. That's why I'm so cautious before the season, especially back in, June, late June, when I start receiving moves to get down. If I just blindly sent everything I get out, you guys would have 10, 15, 20 plays a day. Just too much to handle. My job would be easy. Just pass it on, everything, and you guys figure it out. But no, we narrow it down to the strongest, and that's where we've done very well. So let's keep going. I have only a few more to share, and then we'll get to the next couple nuggets that are fun. Okay. All right, what do we have here? Oh, no. I had to spread that screen open. I thought my eyes were failing me. All right, where's Oklahoma State? Oh, yeah, see, no, it's that round that key number, man. It's that 7. If you could get 7, but I could get 6.5 even anywhere, but very few 7s. I can't send that out. So again, I just got to be true to you guys. That's the key. If you can't get it, and just because I got it, like what freaking good is it if you guys can't get down? Let me check one more. Jesus. Them too. Yeah, see, most of them moved significantly to where I honestly, I think that a lot of would still win, but I'd be rolling the dice and wishing to be the product of good luck. Like I could give 10 win totals right now and a good chance that we'd be profitable, even just blindly selecting 10. But yeah, I don't like to gamble, man, especially with your money. So. Okay, no, we're looking at Stanford, just so you know. Stanford under 3. If I could get better than plus, see, we went under 3.5, but laid some chalk for that privilege. If I could get under 3 at good juice, that's what I'm waiting on. More money now. So, there's a couple on your periphery you got to keep on the radar. Arizona State, the Stanfords, that they're borderline. They're right there. And It's just a matter of how the market's going to move it. If it moves it towards where we're getting the better of it, we fire. If it doesn't, we move on to a different trade. Like, there's always a better trade to make. Don't take a bad number, because if you're taking a bad number, you're not making a good bet. You're placing a bad bet and now just hoping to be the product of good luck. I can't repeat that enough, that even if you win a bad bet, it's just a matter of time before it costs you. All right, and last but not least, Auburn. Oh yeah, too much juice. Yeah, see, the 6.5 still there, but I'm not going to lay 150. I'm not going to have you guys lay 150. We did lay 150 already. We did it on UTSA, but the difference in implied win probability from what I got down wasn't that great. Right now, you're talking of implied win probability change of 10%, and that's the whole edge. Like, if they had an edge of 10%, it's gone now. And here's what I mean by that. They bet over 6.5 even money. So even money means 50-50. The implied win probability is 50%. That's what they think, that there's a 50-50 chance Auburn has of going over 6.5 or going under 6.5. These guys bet over 6.5. Now, to go over 6.5 to place that same bet, you got to lay 150. So sure, if these guys cash their ticket, you're going to cash your ticket also, but your implied win probability is 60%, because that's what minus 150 means. Minus 150 means that Auburn's going to go over 6.5 60% of the time. These guys bet it at 50%. That's a 10% increase in implied win probability. Your edge is gone. You'll make, if these guys cash their tickets, so will you. But you didn't, you were just a product of good luck. It wasn't because you placed a good bet. And that's all we're looking to do, because we're never going to turn the odds completely to our favor. All we could do is turn them to where we're the house, where we're no longer paying admission. We're no longer paying vig. It's the other way around. We're getting the vig. We're getting 11 to 10, 11.5 to 10, 12 to 10. That's the position we want to be in. And it doesn't mean we're going to win every one. The casino doesn't win every bet, and they have a hold on every single one. They have the best of it every single one, and they don't win every bet. So please, please, please keep that in your back of your mind always, that you could place a ton of good bets and have them lose, just like you could place a ton of bad bets and have them win. The difference is the long term. If you continue doing either, the good bets will produce good results. The bad bets will have you lose your bankroll. That's just the bottom line. So we've had 3 added premium plays to our college football futures for a total of 5. I'm comfortable with that. We have 4% plays, so we got 4%, each of them 1%, 2%, 3%. We got 4% of our bankroll tied up, plus 0.5% on the Heisman. That's it. Now, if we get one, maybe 1 or 2 of those get near the number, we'll make 1 or 2 more trades. But we don't need to be locking up more than 5% of our bankroll in futures. Kind of like I do with art, Masterworks. I told you guys, and if you're doing gold or you're doing crypto, those kind of assets, you want to have 5%, 8%, 10%. You don't really want to go higher than those. Don't want to be all in on those kind. So just like these futures, we got good. We got 5%. Now we're going to do the same with NFL. We're going to have about 10% locked up in futures and still have 90% of our bank to work with as capital throughout the season. We're going to be in a very good spot. And when the end of the season comes and those tickets cash and we turn a little profit off the future, boom, they get added to next year's profit or this year's profit, and you could decide to add it to the bankroll or take it. Again, that's all we're trying to do, is make money like we've been doing in this room. Now, let me scroll through some questions so I get too behind. All right. Okay, I'm pretty new to live betting tennis and had a question about taking people live to win sets. I guess what's the real drawback to doing this? I've noticed sometimes the line can be quite advantageous, whereas other times it can be quite advantageous. Wondering my thoughts. Live betting, there's money to be made in live betting, for sure, for sure. I saw it firsthand just the other day, being at the UFC Apex. But the goal, the key is where's the edge coming from? Like a lot of guys that I know that are taking advantage of live betting, they're doing it on delayed feeds. You understand where I'm coming from? Like the feed's a little bit delayed from what's happening live to what the sportsbook has. Now they've gotten a lot better, and some are paying for a particular feed where they're like real time, but a lot aren't. And that's the live action that I've seen bettors taking advantage of. That's why a lot of betting syndicates were, even in the beginning, sending guys to different games and betting real time because they were behind, they were ahead compared to what the casinos were looking on their screens, on their TVs, sometimes 30 seconds, 40 seconds. There was an MMA fight that was 40 seconds behind. I was right there watching it, my live betting and on the screen and what the TV was showing. Right then, if someone got dropped in the first 20 seconds, I could have easily taken advantage of that live betting. Again, the other way to take advantage is to scalp and hedge your original positions. There's a lot of opportunities to lock in profit with live betting. You bet an underdog that's up 20 points, and you come in, you bet the favorite. You got yourself a nice little middle there, nice little scalp there. That's obvious, the easy way to take advantage of live betting. Otherwise, I say stick to what you're doing. If you're finding an edge, keep at it. The problem, though, you got to also be cautious is the splits. The splits are bad. Like you're not paying minus 110, minus 110. A lot of times it's minus 150 even money on the dog. Like that kind of split is hard to beat. You have to be very selective. Now, I have some books that I actually use with splits that bad, but I'm able to pick off certain sides where that book's actually giving me the best line. It's funny. But their splits are so ridiculous, but there's just a number of positions where they happen to have the best line. So I keep that out. But with live betting, yeah, that's the biggest drawback is the splits and, of course, the limits, the limitations. It's real time. It's slower. You see the spinner come on. Like you get frustrated. Like you gotta not get frustrated with it. And I think if you're betting even smaller, it's probably something good to take a look at. Rank in order of sharpest books. AK MMA, hold that because I'm going to talk to you about price action and how to handicap without handicapping on that. That's a great question. What sport's the biggest moneymaker? Changes from year to year. It's just what the market gives you. This year, baseball has given us and MMA has given us. Last year, the MMA betting markets were difficult for me. And why? Favorites won almost 70%. And historically, they win about 64, 65. I'm more routinely a dog bettor. So I had my worst year over the last 8 in MMA. This year, favorites are at 61%, well behind their historical average. Underdogs are at 36%, above their historical average. I'm crushing MMA this year. We're up over 100 units in MMA. So it always depends on what the market gives me. I never go into a season or a sport with that deterministic mentality. Like you can't have that. You're setting yourself up for failure and disappointment because markets evolve, markets change. The people, well, let me take that back. Markets don't change. Markets never change. We say markets evolve. That's a lie. And I've even said that. And it's a lie. They kind of, here's what it changes. the participants change. The people placing the bets is what changes. Sure, the books offer more stuff, the menu's bigger, the vig changes a little, but for them, the job's the same. It's the participants betting into it that changes. As long as you realize that, you'll do fine, because human nature doesn't change. Like, that's why markets repeat. The reason I'm able to do what I'm doing today, the same thing 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and we'll do the same thing 10 years from now if I'm still doing it, is because people don't change. It's what drives us are our emotions. We say the right things, but we don't do them. That's an obvious. We all say the right things. We all know what to eat, but we're one of the most obese countries on the planet. We all know how to work out. We're one of the most obese countries on the planet. We all know about credit, how bad it is, and yet for the first time in the history, we're over $1 trillion in credit card debt. So we say the right things, but doing them is a different thing. And that's where I come from. You can't be deterministic. And I never go into the sport thinking this one's, I'm going to crush it this. Like, I go into every year expecting to win because I apply the same approach. I don't change it. My strategy never hasn't changed. Since I've learned to win, my strategy's been the same. Whether I'm running hot or cold, that part never changes. That is key. So if you're strategy jumping, then of course it's going to change between what your money maker is one year to the next, because your strategies are changing. But for me, it's all the same. So the only thing that is going to change as far as biggest money maker is which market is weaker. And by weaker market, I mean the participants. Which participants are squarish this year? Are they square in MMA? Obviously, it looks at this year because they're betting the favorites and the favorites aren't winning, and a guy like me is able to take advantage of that. It's and more importantly, their human emotion of fear is making them bet even more favorites, because in their mind, you believe a favorite has a better probability of winning. And sure, they kind of do in the long term, but in the short term, there's just so much randomness involved. So what you do is you have bettors chasing and chasing and chasing with these same favorites that aren't winning, and they don't know whether they should change their strategy. And again, that's a bad move to do. So yeah, please, please, please try not to be deterministic in your thinking. Hold on, I got to plug something in 1 second. Just give me 1 second, because I can't let this battery die out on my trading thing. Oh, damn it. I think I missed it. Oh, well. Oh, well. I think it turned off. But as long as you guys can hear me, we're good. We're good. Okay. So, yeah, please, please, please don't be deterministic in your thinking. I keep repeating it. The market don't owe us anything. People are expected to lose. The market's set up to fool most of the people most of the time, to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people the most amount of time, to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. That's what markets are created to do. And all our human emotions are taught to do the opposite. That's why we have so much trouble when it comes to investments and gambling and money. And it's just our inner instinct has us doing the opposite of what we should be doing more times than not. Thank you. Thank you, Via Club. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for all you do. So you don't recommend to be your main source of income. If you want to be your main source of income, dude, sports betting could be your main source of income very easily if you have the capital. Like, it was my only source of income once I got the capital. I didn't do any odd jobs to supplement my bankroll. I said, I'm going to bet from 100 to 500. I'm not going to use that to pay any bills, to do anything, and I'm going to do it the right way for a year and see what happens. And lo and behold, beautiful things happen. And obviously, I sell picks and shit like that. So that's another stream of revenue. But it's not you see, I don't promote like I should be promoting. So I'm not using it as my main source of revenue, or I'd be online doing videos 10 times a day, tweeting 100 times a day. If I was trying to monetize my brand, I'm trying to monetize my skill set, which is trading. And it's very easy to use sports betting as your main source of income if you have the capital. It's that simple. Meaning, if you have $1,000 bankroll, what business can you open with $1,000 that's going to be your main source of income? It's the exact same way. Now, if you could open up a business with $10,000 to be your main source of income, you could do it with sports betting. But that's your business. It's worth $10,000 today. And what do you expect to make from a $10,000 business? Be realistic. If you open a business for $10,000 in the course of 12 months, what do you expect to make? 2,000 profit, 1,000 profit after your bills are paid for? That's being realistic. Is that enough to live off of? Probably not. I keep it real with you guys in here. I don't want you to get jammed up. I want you to do to change your lives in a positive way, and to use sports betting as a way to supplement income. Once your bankroll is big enough that it could become your main income, absolutely have at it. Look, that's what I've done. And it's not to brag. Here, dude, I'll show you right now. This is what I'm doing freaking now. I'm going in places like freaking, I shouldn't even do that, forget it. It's gonna show you Masterworks. I've invested 6 figures in art that came from sports betting, from my profit this year. In the last year, like since last October. So it's not even a year. I started investing there in October and have put in about 6 figures as of today in art, that from sports betting. And now that's going to bring me income, hopefully, as years pass. And I did the same thing with sports, and I opened a TD Ameritrade account. And first I spent a lot of money to learn how to be a trader, and took a couple of years, what have you. But anyway, yeah, you could use sports betting as your main source of income, but you have to be in a space where it's logical, where it makes sense. And again, we're up 282 units. 282 units. If you're betting 282 units, if you're betting $1,000 a unit, you're up 282,000 6 months through the year. You know what I mean? That's a great. There's surgeons that don't make that money. I know a lot of 2 friends out here that actually gamble that are surgeons. Don't make that kind of money in 6 months. So yes, you can do it, but to be betting 1,000, like let's say you need $100,000 bankroll so that your 4% play is a dime. If that's the case, you're fucking making $250,000. The best way I could put it is, if you started with a $10,000 bankroll this year, $10,000, you're betting $25 a unit. If you've listened to what I'm telling you, you've bet $25 a unit. 25 times 282 is $7,050. Even if we've charged you $2,000 for a year of my service, which we haven't, it's only been 6 months. Even if I've charged you $2,000, you've made $5,000 on your $10,000 bankroll. That's a 50% ROI. Now, $5,000 isn't enough for us to live an entire year. I don't think, you know what I mean? Most people can't live off $400 a month. It's not doable. But if you treat it correctly, and next year that becomes $50 a unit, then $75 a unit, then $100 a unit. Next thing you know, bro, you're near the $500. You get the $500 a unit, you're up 140 dimes already, just 6 months into the year. Yeah, you're making a hell of a living just off $500 a unit. Again, let's say you're just betting $100 a unit. You're up 28,000 already. Off of what? $40,000 bankroll. So you started your business with 40 grand, you're already up 28,000. Okay, give me, even if I took 3 of that, I took 3 of that for my service. I'm that much of a scumbag. I took 3,000 from you. you still have 25,000 on a $40,000 bankroll. Now that's 65. If you only use 5 of that for overhead, guess what you're doing January 1st? You're no longer betting 25 or 50. You're not $100 a unit guy. That's where I'm trying to take you, from $25 a unit to $500 a unit. But if you don't take the right steps in between, we'll never get there. Like, it's not going to fall from the sky. I promise you. Like, you're not hitting mega bucks. You're not hitting the lottery. Like, it's not going to come all at once. You're not making a big score. It's not going to happen. The only way it's going to happen is patience, hard work, like anybody else, like anyone else, dude. And if you're not doing it, it's no one else's fault. No one else's fault. Tough love. You got to be accountable to yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. Like I said, the only time I'm losing money in 2023 is it's my fault. I know enough that I should not be losing money betting sports or trading equities. The only time I have is when I fuck up, when I bet more. Remember, you ain't sweating if you're not over betting. You're not sweating if you're not over betting. You're only sweating if you're over betting. You're only sweating if you're over betting. Don't over bet and you won't sweat. It's so simple, yet so few have the patience and discipline to do it. It really is so freaking simple. I did it. I had nothing. 10 years ago, zero. Everything I had was net worth in my pocket. People thought I had money. Look at social media. I had great pictures out in clubs, out all doing all kind of fun shit. It was all in my pocket. If I had a $20,000 a month betting sports, guess what? I was having fun spending that money. Again, that mentality kept me where I deserved, broke. When I changed that mentality, even the very little money that I had, I made more of it. And then I made more of that and made more of that. All because I chose to stop doing the wrong things. I chose that I'm going to do the right thing with the gift that I've been given. I have this, dude, 99 out of 100 people will not make money betting sports. They don't. All those tout selling picks, they all lose money. I'm telling you now. That why are so few willing to show you their last year's results, their last 12 months? Why would anyone who's able to beat the sportsbook over 12 months not show you that? Who in their right mind wouldn't brag about that? But they're not. They're bragging about their last week, their last month, about being number one in a particular sport, number one in a particular rating, number one in a particular day of the week, number one in a particular month. That shit means nothing. It means zero, absolutely nothing. It's throwing darts against the wall. What I'm telling you is 99% of bettors lose. 99% of touts lose. We have access to winning information because of a network I've created over the last 20, 30 years of my life that I've given everything to. And right now, you have me in a place where all I want to do is make this successful. I don't give a shit about anything else. Make the subscription so when December 31st comes around, I can say, look, that's what we did last year when we did it the right way, and watch what we're going to do in 2024. Watch what we're going to do. And keep talking shit, and watch what we're doing. And I know people are going to jump in and out for a week here when we lose, a week there. Oh, that's all fake data. That's all fake results, fake results, fake results. Yeah, I'm constantly somehow the only guy that could get away with posting fake results over and over and over again, year after year after year. Maybe I'm just gifted like that and nobody calls it out for any reason. All right, all times I bet with Gianni have been a winning proposition for me. Yes, thank you, Nathan. For 18 units based on 0.3 bet size instead of the 0.25 Gianni suggests actually works. Yes, tell me, dude, listen to me, please, and Nathan. I didn't pick these numbers out of the sky. I tried everything. I tried narrowing it down to my one best pick and betting 5% of my bankroll, or even a 10%. Like, I'm only going to bet one play a week. One play a week. I'm going to narrow it down to that strongest play, and I'm going to put 10% of my bankroll, and I'm going to be so disciplined. I'm only going to pick 2-3 days. That's not how it works. It's not. I tried going with 1%, 2%, 3%. I've tried so many. I tried with flat betting. I tried every single possible way until it finally, it dawned on me, went the count carding crew. That's what happened. I'm telling you now, life-changing, something could happen in your life that just sparks and changes everything. For me, it was being introduced to Advantage Blackjack because I was allowed for the first time, someone like me who's not patient. I don't have patience. So that was my problem with sports betting. But I saw in card counting the long term instantly. And here's why. Because you guys think I give volume out, right? I've given about 5 plays a day on average. Last year was probably 10 plays a day, double that, if not more. And you think that's high, that's volume. In blackjack, if I find the right dealer who's fast and I play one-on-one, I could get 150 to 200 hands an hour. In 8 hours, I've gotten between 1,200 and 1,600 bets in with him in one day. In 5 days, you know where I'm at. Thousands of bets, thousands of bets. So what I saw was as long as I did the right thing, as long as I bet size correctly and not what my gut told me, not what my emotion told me, not what I thought, oh, we lost 5 in a row, we're due now. But I strictly trusted the math and made every move like I was supposed to and every bet size like I was supposed to. And guess what happened? You see the results, go on my Twitter. I can't play blackjack anymore. Because I saw that having an advantage, how much damage you can do with it if you just apply it correctly. So I realized, dude, I have a bigger advantage in sports than I do in blackjack. In blackjack, I have about a 1.5%, 2% advantage. With the network of wise guys that I move for, holy shit. Dude, you just got to get to the long term. Okay, how am I going to do that? All right, I'm going to follow the exact same betting pattern I did with card counting, except I'm going to 2 or 3x it because the edge is greater. And lo and behold, here we are. 8, 10 years later, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25. Changed my life. Changed my life. And everything I have today is from that, from doing that over and over and over and over again with the same information I'm giving you. Nothing different. No different info. No me doing shit on the side or anything like that. The exact same shit I give you guys. You'll see it during football season. I will be putting the plays in as you watching me. The same bets that I'm tweeting out to you guys. All right, let me keep going. Let me look at some questions because I got some other shit to do to go over with you guys. All right. Do I recommend investing some way? Also, will the Quarter Kelly work with wagering on horses? I will tell you one thing, sir, about horses. If you're on the inside and you have information to beat the horses, have at it. I would not recommend betting horses. The hold is just way too high to overcome. Like, I don't know. I'm telling you, I've been here in Vegas 25 years. And before that, I was around gamblers a lot. And I don't know. I know like 1 or 2 guys that that can say they are profitable betting horses. And both of them either train or own horses. So they're on the inside. Like they know some, like it's a rigged game. Sports is a rigged enough game for the house. Horses is a really rigged game for the house because of the hold. Yeah, it's really tough. Like all the games are rigged. Blackjack's rigged, roulette's rigged, craps is rigged. They're all rigged for the house to win. They're all rigged against us. Just some are rigged a little more than others. And that's, this is coming from someone that loves horses and horse tracks and horse racing. Like I love the thought of going to the track and betting all the races, of being at the track. Some of my best memories are OTB in Philadelphia and going to Monmouth Park. Believe me, I love the horse game, but I realized very quickly I just don't have the network or the skill set to beat that game. And then I realized in my life of gambling, I don't know anyone that does. Like they're only really inside guys. So not to discourage you if you're doing well with horses, but if you're not, I highly recommend just giving it up and maybe having fun with it, like using it. Like I do parlays where I went to T-Mobile for UFC 290. So we're in New York, New York. Of course, I'm going to put in a parlay before we go to T-Mobile. That was me gambling. That was like putting into a mega bucks machine. And that's how I do at the track. I went to where did I go? Not Santa Anita, the other park in Cali about 2 seasons ago. And I had the best time there, the best time. But I didn't go there with a bankroll that I'm going to beat the horses. Like I went there with a bankroll that I was willing to lose and gamble on the horses and have fun with it. And I would recommend you going this, if you want to do gambling, I would, if someone asked me as far as gambling, what I recommend, I would say blackjack. I really would. Because then if you could beat that game, sports will come easy to you, poker will come easy, all that stuff will make sense so easily. Or poker. And that's why a lot of poker players end up being winning sports bettors, because they have it takes the same discipline. The game's different, but the mind, it's all the same skill set. Like you need the same exact skill set to beat all of those. That's like I said, that's why I keep going over the stuff that really matters more than let's handicap this game. Let me give you my opinion on how good Arizona State's going to be this year. Who gives a fuck? We're all going to find out over the next couple months how good Arizona State's going to be. I don't need to waste my time or yours talking about that shit. Why people watch all that stuff is beyond me. I don't understand it. Let me go a couple more questions before we cover this stuff. Oh, the play rating on the Heisman is a 2%. 2% play. So we're at 10 to 1. We could pick up 20 units, which again, we're a quarter of that. So we could pick up a nice 5 units. I like that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, moderator, WagerTalk. Yeah, any client that's on that 90 days or less that wants to upgrade, regardless of whether they're in a cycle, they get 100% credit towards that access. Thank you. Thank you. Do that for them. Thank you, Johnny. That's key. That's key. Getting their price per play down to where it's pennies is key. You got to get your overhead down. And that really matters. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you and your knowledge. Do you have a specific system for handicapping your plays? Yeah, great question, Chris. I use 5 factors to confirm my positions, let's say, my bets. I like analytics because I'm a math geek. I'm a math nerd. So I like to look at stats, and I like to try to find some advanced analytics, not just your normal stuff. I like to trade what my network shares with me. That comes from being a mover for a runner, then a mover for as long as I have. I've developed a very trustworthy group of sources of information for different markets because I help them get down. So that's another one of the sources that help me confirm. I use price action for sure. And that's what I want to get to here today. Give you a little tutorial quickly on price action. Because that to me has been one of the biggest winners for me as far as uncovering value. Being able to read price action is just so freaking important, man. I recommend that to everyone to try to use that to help them identify plays. Again, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of getting used to, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Hold on, stuff's coming across, so I'm just looking at it. Please forgive me for 1 second. Hold on. All right, we may have something else, so give me 1 second. No, 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 no. Come on, come on. Oh no. Okay, they're not doing it. Okay, I thought they were setting up a baseball game for tomorrow. Give me 2 seconds. Make sure that we may be getting out ahead. We rarely do that with the overnights. Okay. No, they're not. Okay. Let me get back to that because that was a great question. So I said I trade five different factors: 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, based on the confirmations. Meaning, I trade my network. So if my network comes in with a play that I am confident is a move, that's worthy of a 1% play. As you notice, I almost never send out 1% play. I need multiple factors to confirm, at least 2 of them to confirm. Another of the 5 factors, second of the 5 factors that I use is price action, as I touched on. That I'll get in a little bit more in a little bit. The third thing, I use momentum. You don't stand in front of momentum. Same thing with stock market. Same thing with sports. You don't get ahead of it, you ride momentum. I've gotten really good at that, of not getting in front of streaks, of picking off streaks and riding streaks. You could cash multiple tickets. You bet against streaks, you can only cash one or lose a bunch of them if it keeps going. That's just the short way of summing up momentum. And then analytics. Like I said, I'm a stat geek. I trust numbers more than people because I know people have opinions. Numbers don't. They just have facts. We can all have our own opinions, but we can't have our own facts. I'll stick by that. And when it comes to numbers, it's strictly factual, so I'm a fan. And finally, mean reversion, which I've talked about a lot, which is when a team, no team or fighter, player is ever as good or as bad as they look in any one game, any one week, any one fight. So I look for the market to overreact. I'm looking for corrections, for overreactions, for recency bias. So there you go. My network, price action, momentum, analytics, and mean reversion. Once we get 2 of the 3, it's a bet. It's a premium for me. We get 3 of 3, it's a 3% play. 4 of 4, 4%. When all 5 boxes check off, I don't care if it's 20 minutes before the game. That's what happened in the last 2. The 5th box didn't check off until about 40 minutes before the game. And I was not going to not give out a 5% just because I couldn't sell it. So I released it as a 5% play. That's what I'm a systematic trader. Just like when it comes to stocks, I'm a technical trader. I don't watch read the Wall Street Journal. I don't watch CNBC. I don't look at the news. I don't give a fuck. The chart tells me everything I need to know. I see fear and greed and it jumps out at me. It sings to me. Kind of like I think like how someone that understands music could look at a sheet of music and to them, they see the notes. They could actually hear it. To me, that's what makes sense to me. When I see a chart, I see support, I see resistance, I see trailing stops, I see topping tails, I see heads and shoulders, that's what I see. And the same thing with sports. I'm looking for price action, a particular price action. I'm looking for momentum, not to get ahead of it. I'm looking for the analytics to line up. So excellent, excellent, excellent question. And I recommend everyone create their own. You need this because otherwise you're banking on emotion. You need to turn in your feel for a system. Like that to me helped me be so successful. Like when I stopped trading on my predictions and my opinions and my feelings and my emotions, and I started trading on actual signals that mattered. And when those signals clicked, I fired. But you need to establish them for yourself. And that's a process. Like if I wrote a book today, even though the market, like I said, the participants change and the market doesn't, like you wouldn't necessarily gain the value from it and be able to apply it. That only comes from experience. That's why I urge the subscribers to keep coming here because it starts to sink in. You can't buy experience. I'll keep saying that. You cannot buy experience. It's the one thing you can't purchase. It only comes with time. So in a year from now, you're going to be so much further ahead. 2 years from now, further ahead. 5 years from now, further ahead. So be patient. Create your own system as you're learning. Until then, we have one in place for you where you simply need to trade correctly. And what I urge you to do is, this is what I did. Here's what I'll tell you real quickly. Fuck it. I just reverse engineered everything. You have the plays, reverse engineer it. Go back and look at the line move for the play. Where did it open? Where did they send it out at? Where did it close at? What is this team? Have they been winning or have they been losing? What about this pitcher? Is he coming off a winning game, off a losing game? That's all I did. I had so much plays from the betting syndicates I was moving for. All I had to do is reverse engineer what they were doing. Nobody's going to tell me what they were doing, how they do it. No one's going to tell you. That's all going to come from you, from experience, from actually doing it. It's like I said before, I could give you the 10 best books on brain surgery. And you could promise me that you memorized them cover to cover, that I could tell you what's page 28 say, and you'll call it off the top of your head. You know all 10 books cover to cover, you could recite them. And you've done nothing but read these books for 5 straight years every day. You think I'm going to let you operate on my head? Am I going to let you cut me open? Of course not, because you're going to have to show me you did it in practice. You put that into practice. You actually operated on someone. And that's where you need to take this and apply it. Right now, again, I told the people that are here, I want the ones that are committed long term, because right now I need to get through to you the money management angle before we could ever talk handicapping, before we ever talk about what I look for, how I narrow down my plays. We got to get this down first. That's why I said, I don't care if it's just 2 of us. This isn't for me to sell, for someone to jump on here and me to impress them and have them buy. I'm taking it slow because I've already mapped out where I want to take this room. And right now, I need the people that are committed for money management to become automatic. Once I get that out of the way, once I'm sure that the majority of us are where we need to be on the money management part, not the bankroll part, the risk management part. Once we're there, I'll start moving on to what do I look for in momentum? What do I look for in the analytics? Which analytics do I look for? What do I mean by momentum? What regression am I looking for? Team, players? Like, until we knock out until the foundation is built, we can't put anything on it. And I'm telling you, I know for certainty the foundation hasn't been built yet because bettors are still getting crushed. They're betting more than they should. And until, again, it becomes so routine, until you're so sick of hearing me say it, then it's time to move on. Again, my goal is for you to fucking win, dude. It isn't to get people to sell them. It's the people that already got past that, saw the results, and say, I want to match those results. I did this, it didn't work. I did this, it didn't work. I did this, it didn't work. I'm actually going to try to do it right. I'm going to give myself 6 months. And I'm going to do what he fucking says. Either if I lose, then he can go fuck himself too. But at least give yourself that chance. So that's why I'm saying we will move on to those things. As football comes, we're going to break down games. There's going to be a Monday night. We'll do a show on a Monday night. We'll have nothing but the Monday night game to discuss. Nothing but the Thursday night game to discuss. Nothing but Sunday games to discuss. And you'll see my reasoning. You'll start to understand what I look for, what other sharp bettors look for. That's easy. That's easy. I'm trying to get through the hard part. which is once you get the ability to win, because a lot of you already can. There are so many of you on here that can already win. You just don't know how to turn that into money. Like there's some of you that are so knowledgeable about a particular sport that could be a specialist in a sport that could beat that particular sport. If they just had the discipline to stick to that sport, bet size correctly, learn the process, create their own trading strategies, stick to their trading strategies. Like you have that ability. A lot of you do. I'm not special. But that is not going to help you unless you get this part out of the way. Why do you think I want to keep talking about money management? You don't think I want to talk about the fun shit and the games and talk about our results and how much money we've made and this and that, Mark? Else I'd be doing the same shit every other tout's doing. And that's bragging when I'm hot, hiding shit when I'm cold, and not dealing with the reality of, dude, this is a process. Every day's a battle. And I'm here to help you win that battle. We won't win every one, but we're fucking winning the war. That much I promise you. Numbers don't lie. People do. Numbers never lie. I've lost plenty of battles, but I'm winning the war. That much is factual. No one could say otherwise. The long-term war, the 2023 war, we're winning that one. So stay on course. Trust the process. Handle your emotions. And I promise you, over the next 12 months, you will learn how to use momentum, how to look for price action, how to use analytics, all those things, at least the way I approach it. And again, the network is something that is very hard to attain, but you don't need to because you already have that with your guy right here. So you have your own fucking network and you have one of the best networks. Okay, Tulane, over or under? Tulane. We were under 10 on Tulane, under 10 on Tulane. They are laying up, I think, minus 140 on Tulane. And Oklahoma State, under 7 was the number. Under 7 up to minus 120 was what they asked for. I got them. I found it. So again, I don't know where it's at now. Let me see. Here we go. Why don't I give out deals? What deals do you want? Give me an idea. Give me an idea. I'll give deals. Listen, what else do I offered to you to come in, try it. If you don't like it, we were refunding money. We were giving people a month and telling them even the 29th day you could go. If it's just your scam, like you're trying to win for a month, just ask me, dude. I'll give you a free, that's not going to change your life. A month, a day, a week. But yeah, we never have any problem giving out. Anytime anyone's ever asked me for a play, I'm not on social media enough. I always give you a play. I'll give you my premium card. I don't have a problem ever sharing that. My concern is that's not going to help you do much, but change the current for like minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I win, okay, it was good for you. If I lose, I get lost a little bit. That part's easy. It's doing it, rinse and repeat. I'm here to help you rinse and repeat. When you give us a favor, and for example, it's minus 150 at 4%, and my 4 unit is 100, are you then betting 150 to win 100? Yes. Yes, that's how I am doing it. That's how we grade it. So the results are based on the VIG being added. So yes, that's exactly how you should be doing it. That's why when I give a minus 200 and it's a 4% play, I know we're betting 2% of our bankroll on that. So I'm not sending it out lightly. That's why we did these season win totals. I had 30 of them. We're on 4 because we gave a little juice, minus 130s, 140s. I'm very, very careful to protect your bankroll. Protecting your capital is my #1 priority. Number 2 is helping it grow. But I can't help it grow unless I protect it first. I have to make sure you're protecting it. As long as you're protecting your capital, I'll help you make it grow. That part's easy. That's the easy part. If you have capital, but that's the hard part. Most people just don't have capital. If you're betting 100 on a 4 unit play, You're well funded. You're sitting well. Next, you're bet. So that means you're betting $25. You're at the 10,000 bankroll. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Next year, let's go to 15 or 20. Let's double that up, because I got a feeling we're going to have a kick-ass close to the year. That much I can promise you. I'm coming off a losing. You saw what happened coming off a losing 2022, where I'm at overall. I'm also coming off a losing football season. And if you remember back to the years prior, what was happening in NFL, in college. So I think we're going to do really well, really, really well. Again, I don't think deterministically. I think optimistically. But with that said, I'm also a realist and know I can't take my foot off the gas. I have to stay focused, dedicated, committed. And that's why I need this chat room every week. It's to keep me in line. It ensures, it sets parameters around my own discipline. Dude, like I told you, here, fuck it, I'm going to show it. I wasn't going to show it, but here, I'm going to show it. Here's the trade. You ready? Pull on. Hold on, let me get this up. Cost basis. I'm going to share this with you, just so you see it. Everyone could fuck up. The key is not to keep doing it. Yeah, you ready? Can't even pronounce their fucking name. I hate this company now. See, and I'm taking it personal with the company. It ain't the company's fault. It's my fault. And here I'm going to show you how. You ready? There's my screen. Okay. Now you see it. You see that position on Schlumberger? They're an oil company, okay? I level in. Like I say, I go 200, 300, 500. My goal was to acquire 2,500 shares of this company, to short 2,500 shares. I'm not going to short 2,500 right away, because I'm going to level in. I'm going to see that my trade is confirmed, and I'm going to position more. As I get confirmation, I'm willing to position more. But if trade goes against me, I need to have the capital to dollar cost average or to close up my trade. Well, here's what happened here. Let me pull up Schlumberger. Let's pull it up. Here's Schlumberger right now. Here's where I got in, okay? Let's go to the daily chart. Here's the daily chart. Here's where we are now. Here's where I started shorting, right around here, okay? I started shorting. And you'll see this cry on the hourly chart. If you divide and look at my prices, I got in right around here, okay? I leveled in like the trade was showing, okay? When we got to our gap fill, and it didn't fill the gap, and it just busted right through, I needed to close out my trade right there. Being a technical trader, I needed to stop out right there. I needed to close out. This stock was not the institutions were not respecting the rules. And for whatever reason, they were gonna short squeeze this stock as high as they could. And coupled with the inflation index coming out and the dollar dropping, what happens when the dollar drops? Commodities rise, gold rises, oil rises. So the timing was perfect. And what's it doing right now? If you look at the hourly, it's going up and it's consolidating like it's ready to go up another leg. So my choices right now are to eat. How much am I going to eat of my losses? I could have ate it right here. I could have stopped out right here and lost, like I said, about 1,000, 1,500 at the most, Instead, I'm now looking at, I'll tell you now. Yeah, you hear that? That's the stock room that I'm in. In the background. I keep it on mute, don't worry. Right now, it's exactly at, I'm down 10,959 on that trade. So 5x more than I should have. I'm going to stop out today. I'm going to eat it because that's what I need to do. That's a terrible loss. That's a bad move on my part. That now is going to cost me and set me back where I'm still up for 2023, but instead of just losing 2,000 of the profit that I was up, now I'm going to lose 10,000 of the profit that I was up. I need to correct and not repeat. If that happens to me again, I need to close my account and take a step back, because I know enough from sports betting to be able to take losses. Like when I'm down on Sunday and I have to settle every week, I don't chase. I'm not going to bet if I don't see anything just because I don't want to pay the bookie on Wednesday when we meet. I need to eat the loss and move on to the next trades and turn it around next week. I didn't do that. I let my emotion, now being in the game this long, having become successful doing this, and I still have to keep checking myself and reminding myself over and over how quickly this could get away from you, how fast it snowballs into, I'll just bet a little bit more this time. You know what, I really like this one. It won't hurt if I, you know what, I really will go a whole 3% just this time. Dude, you can't ever fucking do that. That happens to you, what happened to me. And instead of losing 1,500, you lose 10 dimes. I deserve it. I deserve to lose 10 dimes this week off that trade. I deserve it to hurt. All the work I did winning in sports this last week, what I won at T-Mobile, all's going to go to that stock, believe it or not. A little bit more even, I think. Wow. From what I won last week, all in one bad trade. How many great trades did I make in sports? Great trades, one bad trade. And instead of cutting it off, I let it snowball. That happened to me in sports so many times. And that's why I tell you, I was broke with winning information. It's not enough. Knowing how to win isn't enough. Having the books knowledge isn't enough. It's being able to put it into practice. That's why I urge people not to paper trade for too long. Test your thesis out by paper trading, but until you're really putting your hard-earned money in play, you won't know how you're going to react when you're down. You still don't know that. You have to know how everybody handles it differently. We're all going to react to losing very differently, just like we all react to winning differently. If you don't know how you're going to handle that, you could get into a lot of trouble. Me, a seasoned veteran who screams all day about not letting emotions get to him, about fighting my inner demons. And I let that one demon beat me this week. And I wasted a whole week of work, The only thing I could do is write it on a Post-it and remind myself over and over again that that's how easy this can happen to you. You could lose 10 dimes instantly, just like that, by thinking you're smarter than the market. You're not. I'm not smarter than the market. You're not smarter than the market. We're lucky that the market gives us what it gives us. Be happy for that, because the 99% of the rest that are playing this game are losing. They're losing. The sports books are getting bigger and bigger and bigger because people are losing more and more and more. They're not winning more and more and more, regardless of what the internet tells you. People are not winning. I speak to these sports books too. The amount of money that people are losing is the reason they're able to kick out all the sharp bettors, is the reason they're able to limit every account that even appears to be a threat. They have that much losing money coming in that they don't, even if they even think there's a hint of sharpness, they don't need you. There's enough people that are 100% square that they don't need you. So please, 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 stay disciplined. Don't let what happened to me happen to you over and over again. If you made a mistake, it's okay. Don't repeat, correct. We're allowed to make mistakes. What we're not allowed to do is keep repeating the same ones and thinking, there's another reason for it. Again, I blame myself. It's not the stock's fault. It's not the chart's fault. It's not even how I read it fault. It was my emotion that cost me. And we have winning information. I have 8 years of results, not a season, not 3 months, not 1 year. I have 8 years of documented results. That's the network that you're plugged into right now. You're part of that betting group that I work with. Anyone that signed up, that's who you're with. You're with our group right now. The money you're moving ours. The book they're seeing those plays come in, they know wow, that's sharp shit. Trust me. You are plugged in with a very sharp network right now where I keep urging you to do the right thing, because I promise you, it's an opportunity so few people will get. This isn't me bragging or anything like that. Dude, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. I'm not even sure. But what I'm telling you is so few people out there. I'll have this debate with anyone, absolutely anyone. I welcome the debate. I welcome it. We'll be able to give you the information that I share with you. You just won't, the network just is so hard to acquire, that network. Like I'm telling you, you're very, very, very plugged in. These units are not by accident. We're not up 282 units by accident. In fact, we should probably be up more. This is me just continuing to learn, to try to get better, to improve. That's what this room is for. You're making me a better sports bettor, a better handicapper, a better money manager, a better risk manager. And I want to do the same for you, but I need your cooperation, man. That's why I'll keep talking about money management until the season starts and we have actual games to break down. And I'm hoping between now and then, it really sinks in and becomes like breathing. And yeah, Chuck, the bet sizing will only work in horse betting if you're winning. If you're a winning sport, like if you're winning at any sport, any market, it will work. It's just like charting. That's why I say I'm a technical trader. If I could chart it, I can trade it. I don't care if it's gold, Bitcoin, Tesla, or Berkshire Hathaway. It's irrelevant. If I can chart you, I can trade you. And it's the same with the risk management that I've created for my subscribers. You can take that and apply it anywhere as long as you have the edge. That's the key. You need the edge. If you have the edge at horses, apply it and you'll profit 100%. But if you don't have the edge, the bet sizing isn't going to save you. You need both. You need both. Great question. Do you like a 200 money line for a sure bet? No. The only time I like a minus 200 money line is when I think it should be a minus 300. And here's what I mean by that. Minus 200 simply means that the implied win probability, that let's say team A is minus 200 versus team B. Minus 200 means 67%. The implied win percentage is 67%. So the market is saying that team A has a 67% chance of beating team B. I like to lay minus 200 if I think team A has a 75% chance of beating team B, where it should be minus 300. Then I'll lay minus 200 all day. I'll bet it until they change it. I'll unload. But if I think the line should be minus 200 and that team A wins 2 out of 3 times and they look up and it's minus 200, then I don't have a bet. Sure, they should win. They should win 2 out of 3 times, but it's not a winning bet. Now I'm just hoping to roll the dice and be the product of good luck. The only time minus 200 is a sure bet is when it should be minus 300. And even then, you're not guaranteed to win it, but you're guaranteed you made a great bet. And I'll take it right back to the analogy I made last week. You're walking through a casino. You stop at the roulette table. You look down, there's 38 spots. You know they're paying 35-1, so it's a terrible bet even if you hit the number, okay? But the casino manager says, for the next 10 minutes, we will give 50-1 if you hit your number. You can only place one number at a time, but we will pay 50-1. You have to place that bet. You're getting 12-1 higher than you should be getting. There's only 38 spots. You're getting 50-1 on a 38-to-1 proposition. You have to place that bet. Odds are in the next 10 minutes, you probably won't hit that number because there's 38 of them. You're only allowed to bet one. And for 10 minutes, you're probably not going to hit the number. But every time you placed a bet, you placed a great bet. You were getting the best of it. The casino was taking the worst of it. If you were allowed to stay for 10 hours, you would leave with all the money. If you were allowed to stay for 10 days, 10 years, if you could keep playing it, you had the edge. Again, it's not if the bet wins. It's if the bet is offering you an edge. And a minus 200 is not offering any kind of edge unless it should be minus 250, minus 300. When I say underfunded, what do I consider underfunded? Underfunded is a bankroll that is unable to overcome negative variance. And you're underfunded if you're overbetting, meaning if you have a $1,000 bankroll and you're going 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, and actually a whole 1%, a whole 2%, a whole 3%, a whole 4%, a whole 5%, you're underfunded. You don't have the bankroll to bet like that. If you bet 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, you're not underfunded. That's the difference. It's underfunded. You could have $1 million and be underfunded. Like you could have $1 million and be underfunded. If the project costs $2 million, you're underfunded. It's the same thing with sports betting. If I'm betting as if I have a 10,000 bankroll, but I really have a 5,000 bankroll, so a 1% play, I give out a 4% play. So you know you're only supposed to bet 1% of bankroll. You have a $5,000 bankroll, but you say, okay, so I'm supposed to bet $50 on this play. You're like, you know what? I'm going to bet 100 on it this time. I really like this play. I'm betting 100. You're underfunded for that bet. You misbet. You're not funded. You need it. If you had double the amount in your bankroll, if you had a $10,000 bankroll, then the bet makes sense. Now you're underfunded for the bets you're making. I never want that for anyone in this room. As long as you do this right, this don't matter. Get your costs down so that a small bankroll still is profitable, and it won't matter. The key is just betting enough to overcome your overhead and leave a profit. And next year, increase in that. But if you're underfunded and betting it, just probabilities are you're not going to get there. That's all it simply means, that you're betting more than your edge and your bankroll allows. And again, you can do it. You're just not going to make money doing it. Yeah, of course. I agree 100% as far as that's why I don't watch sports, to be honest with you. Number one, please don't take this the wrong way. I was huge. I watched everything. You got to remember, I've been doing this for so long. Now I don't do it because I don't even care for it to bias me. The only thing I watch is UFC on Saturdays. That's it, because I enjoy it. I'm not trying to learn from it. I'm not taking notes or anything. I'm just watching it and enjoying it, eating, drinking, whatever. But people that are watching sports every day, that are betting, then watching them, yeah, they're emotionally invested in the sport. That's dangerous. Like, you got to treat it like a market. You got to understand that the sport's just the vehicle you're using. It's no different than a stock. Like, if I tell you to invest in GE, are you going to go to Home Depot and stand in front of General Electric refrigerators and cheer them in? Are you going to be walking up and down the GE aisle being like, yeah, General Electric, yeah, I like it. Great fucking dishwasher, baby. Cheer it in? Of course not. But we get emotionally involved in sports, and that's the mistake. And that's why I again, if I watch The Ultimate Fighter, I'm going to like a kid or not like a kid. I'm going to get emotionally biased. It happens to me with the contender. I try not to pay attention because I end up liking some of these kids or not liking them for whatever reason. It's mostly liking them. And then they get into the UFC. Like, I don't want to have that bias. So yeah, I like to take advantage of that because, like I said, I'm going to read one quote from Jesse Livermore, who was the world's best trader that ever lived. He said one thing that stuck with me forever. He said, there's nothing new on Wall Street or in stock speculation. What has happened in the past will happen again and again and again. This is because human nature does not change. And it's human emotion that always gets in the way of human intelligence. That's so true. That's so true. People don't change. Times change, things around us, but emotionally we don't. That's why if you're able to beat a market, you could beat any market because you obviously develop the emotional skill set to do so. And that's more important than anything. That's why I keep trying to drill home the money management thing. You think I don't want to do the more fun shit? Again, we will. Thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it. I thank you for your time, all of you, for spending time with me and sharing your insights and your questions, because it also helps me understand how I can help craft this discussions going forward to help you guys. Yeah, let's get them in because we are coming in on towards the end of this chat. Let's see. So a unit isn't 1% of your bankroll, it's 0.25. Yes, 0.25 per percent. Correct. Correct, Luke. A 1% play is 0.25. A 2% play is 0.50. 3% play is 0.75. 4% play is 1%. And a 5% play is 1.25. Already established that. So if you have a $10,000 bankroll, you're betting $25, $50, $75, $100, and $125. You don't change that until you drop down to 5,000 or up to 15,000. Or even better, you wait till the end of the year. You do those things. You do those things and not change them, regardless of whether the information I share is running hot or cold, and you'll turn a profit. Your results will reflect mine, just like they have over the last freaking 8 years. That much I can promise you. Oh, any apps I use to track bets? I love the question because I'm such a huge proponent of keeping a trade journal. And I won't even lie. I don't in sports anymore. Like I write down all my trades. Now I have all the sports books as more or less my record keepers. But I tracked everything. The problem is my generation was more pen and paper. So everything I did, I wrote out. I don't even want to waste your time, but what I'm saying is I have folders of, these are like years of results that I was keeping. Like I could probably tell you 3 years ago on this date what I did. But I don't keep a daily trade journal anymore where I write down every trade and then I go back and I see what I did right, what I did wrong. I did that for a while, dude. I'm doing that now with equities. And it really does help. I know it's tenuous and it fortunately I have OCD, which is bad and good. The good is that doing shit like that comes naturally. The bad is you do shit like that too much. But I highly recommend that because it gives you a record. Like if you're not keeping a record of your results, there's a reason for that. They're probably not that good because we've all done it. How many of us started and said, I'm going to start tracking my bets. I'm going to make sure I track everything. And we'll track them as long as they're doing good. Once they start doing bad, we stop tracking. It's happened to me, so I'm sure it's happened to you guys before as well. We got to get past that. Those days are gone. We're allowed to have lived them, but we got to leave them where they were. We don't do that anymore. Now we track because we need to know where we're at. I highly recommend you track your daily results. It takes 2 seconds. It takes all of 2 seconds. Get a calendar, for God's sakes, if you have to. And just write on it whether you won or lost, plus or minus. So you're able to look back and see, how did I do this month? How did I do? Did I actually make money? And from that money, did I have any of it left? Like you want to visually be able to see your results. And that's why with stock, I really am doing it the right way from the very beginning, because with sports, I had to learn it. With stock, I paid and got an education and a mentorship and that kind of stuff. But with sports, I learned from the market. So it was just trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And one of the trial and not errors that actually was very beneficial was tracking my results. So it just gives you a clear window of where you're at and what's going on. And if you could track your bets, even better. If you're able to go back and look at, did you beat the line move? Did you get lucky, or did you actually win the game? Like, if you could do little things like that, man, it'll bring you further ahead a lot faster. It really will. And that's if that's your goal. If your goal is to try to beat the market yourself, there's a lot of people gambling that aren't trying to do that, and they're using a source of information, just like they are with stocks. You know, they have an advisor or someone that trades for them. That's fine. Again, if you don't want to handicap, you don't have to handicap. That's what we're here for. Bet the information, baby. That's all you got to do, because that's what matters. But you know, there's some people that want to try to beat the markets themselves, and that's going to take a lot of trial and error. And you know, it isn't an easy task, but obviously it's very doable. As far as apps, I think you guys would be better at that. Shit, they got apps for everything. So I'm sure there's a bunch of good sports betting apps that'll track your bets out there for sure. Where I'm at in my career in sports betting, I just don't have a need to do that. The results are tracked for me, so it's a little different. Post your questions right here, Tim, right here, sir. I'm scrolling through. Okay, nobody, you're starting with 500. Here's what you should do if you're starting with 500. You should be betting $5 a game and on your own. Like, you shouldn't be paying for information. Like, you shouldn't buy my subscription. I'm just being honest with you. It's not advantageous for you. Like, you're not in a position yet where your bankroll is going to be able to grow, pay its overhead, and make it profitable for you. I ran into it with stock. Like I said, I wanted the mentor and learning. And then I realized, dude, you need bigger figures. And I had to wait a few years. Like, I thought after the first few years that I had made enough money that I needed to start investing in other stuff. And I just realized I wasn't ready at that level yet. Saved money, waited 2 more years. And now I have, you know, a day trading account, a swing trading account, and a great education that I paid for. So yeah, that's just me keeping it real. If you're working with a $500 bankroll, I highly recommend you don't pay for information. That's going to take all your money. Don't pay for, again, games of the year, or if you have a $500 bankroll, you can't pay more. This is just me being honest, than 50 cents per play, 25 cents per play. And they're just not selling. I don't think there's not cappers selling plays that cheaply. So that's why, not to discourage you. If anything, it's a positive, because you're not going to get yourself in a situation where you're going to spend money and, you know, have it cost you. I'm just telling you now, with $500, like, I won't even want to tell you, you know what? Oh yeah, you could start and then just keep replenish it. You know, bet as if you have a $5,000 bankroll, and as long as you could, no, I don't want to get into that stuff. Sure, if you have the discipline and you're able to replenish, there's guys that can do that. That's not what I'm urging. I'm urging people that are funded to use this as an investment vehicle, and it's okay if you're not. Like, that's okay. You have to just ask yourself, how many businesses can I start with $500? There's not that many. It'll be a small business, and that's fine. You could start your own. But to take on overhead like a service is just not advantageous. So I would not recommend. I would tell you, over the next year, never bet more than $5. Try to stick to $5 bets for a year, see how you do, and then reassess. That's the truth, how I would handle it. And I would probably just bet my own stuff. And, you know, sure, there's a lot of information out on the internet and a lot of even free stuff, and cappers and WagerTalk guys give out free picks all the time. And there's a lot of good sources of information out there for a smaller bankroll to use if they want to, if they don't just want to do it all themselves. But as far as paying for a service, I just wouldn't recommend it. Okay, I have a question. He said on the previous call that he bets favorites to win 3 units. Example, 3.3 units to win 3. In dogs, he flat bets. Does that mean he flat bets 3 units on dogs or to win 3 units? No. I just flat bet 3. So if I have a 3-unit play on a dog at -1, on a favorite at -110, I'm betting 3.3 to win 3. If I got a +150, I'm betting 3 units to win 4.5. That's how our results are tracked. Now, if you do it differently and you see over the course of a big sample size, it's more advantageous to do it flat betting a different way, please do so. And more importantly, share your results with me. I have no problems adjusting it and changing, evolving my approach at all. If someone could show me a proven system that is more beneficial, I'm down. So Tim, if you do that in a different way, I'm not saying you're gonna, but if you do approach your risk management differently and it turns out better than what I urge, please come back and share that with us. And yes, if I'm laying a -200 and for 3 units, I'm betting 6 units to win 3. And please keep in mind, I have already considered that I'm asking you guys, like if I give out a 4% play at -200, that's 1% of your bankroll. At -200, that's actually 2% of your bankroll. I know what I'm asking you to do. I'm not sending out a -200 unless I'm extremely comfortable that it should be a -250 at least. That much you could be sure of. Yeah, wow, Johnny's giving all kind of discounts. Go through the chat that you could test shit out. Good, thank you, man. Please, there's so many people that are losing money unnecessarily, and if they do have the bankroll for it, like I said, you don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars, dude. You just need a bankroll that could cover your overhead, produce a profit, and the discipline to follow through. Because then, again, once you increase bet size and bankroll, that's not going to keep going up. Like let's say we increase our bankroll by 50% this year. Well, fuck it, we've already done that. We may increase it by 100%. I'm not going to increase the prices by 100% next year. Like we may say we go 50%, next 3 years, we go 50%, 100%, 300. The prices aren't going to keep increasing like that. Your overhead's going to stay low. That's the goal. That's where things change. Like you have to look at, again, I want the guys that are with me for the ride. I wish I had come up with this 4 or 5 years ago, and so many of you would have already been there that long and could have already told the story of how to do it. But we're starting now, 2023. And I promise you, 2025, 2026, we're going to look back and be like, holy shit, the units were real, the results were real, and we made a lot of money, having a lot of fun betting sports. Imagine that. If you have CLV long-term, then you will win. But can you also win reading the market and betting close to game time? KG, absolutely. Absolutely. CLV, closing line value, guarantees you'll be a long-term winner. Okay? Because the closing line is the most accurate number we have. Like the weather's factored in, the injuries are factored in, the lineup's factored in, everything's factored into the closing line. Unlike the opening line, we still don't know. Is it going to rain on game day? Is he going to play? So everything's figured out. That's the closest we have. Okay. So if you're beating that, you're going to be profitable long term. That's been proven. with that said, in today's market, where there's so much manipulation and so much of the art is getting down without moving the market, which is what I've gotten very good at doing, you'll see that you're getting winners without a ton of CLV. That's okay. That's okay. But the CLV just assures it. But it's a different game in 2023. If you're not getting it, you're not a guaranteed winner. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean you're a losing bettor, but I'm not guaranteed you're a winning bettor. But if you're getting CLV, I'm pretty guaranteed you're plus EV. But the flip side could also be true. If you're not getting CLV, you could still be profitable in 2023 without a ton of CLV. You see some markets that don't move much. And like I said, the art form now for movers is how to get down the most amount of money without moving the line. If you see, I'm betting off screen. I'm not betting on screen. The only time I'm betting on screen is if we're trying to manipulate the market and have it move in a particular direction. Otherwise, you know, I'm trying to get down. Someone, for example, someone will tell me, I want, let me just give you a perfect example. Someone sent me Alexander Munoz at minus 140. Minus 140. Okay. Munoz is now minus 180, minus 185. That got a ton of CLV, and that's a great bet, regardless of outcome. That's a great bet. We know that because of the CLV. But then there'll be other sides that we get down on that's just not the case. And again, it's just the markets, individual markets are different. So don't automatically assume if you're not getting CLV, you can't win. But no, if you are getting it, you're way ahead of the game. Like that much you know for sure. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm sending out that we're not going to get a ton of CLV on, especially some stuff that already moved. But I am so confident there's still enough EV for us to get down. That's the art in knowing when to stop and when to keep going. That's what takes a long time to get good at. Where before I just piggyback stuff blindly. I didn't know. That's why I had so much volume years in the beginning when I first started touting and selling picks. I didn't know how to narrow down. So I was like, shit, I'm just giving everything. And again, the art became learning how to pick off the best shit. Which OTB was my spot in Philly? Believe it or not, we used to go to the one Upper Darby, right on Market Street. It was Sears. First, it was J.C. Penney's, if you could remember, if you could believe. When I was a little kid, it used to be a J.C. Penney's, and then it was a Sears, and then it became OTB. You want to know why it was OTB? Here's what happened. Across the street was a coffee house, okay? You know, in that area, there were two coffee houses. I actually had one at one part of my life for a few years. Make a long story short, this particular coffee house was called Patras. It was a Greek coffee house, which was exactly across from the Sears. He had a satellite on the roof and booked horses, okay? Patras. He ended up going to prison for a little bit of time. Anyway, he owned horses, not great guy. Had poker machines in there. Make a long story short, that place was busier than any track you would go to on a day. Like you could go to Philly Park or go to Patras's, and Patras's is going to be busier than Philly Park. Everyone knew to go there to bet. You paid better than the window paid, number one. And again, you didn't worry about taxes or anything like that. Anyway, once the state saw how much money Patras was making, they realized, wow, why don't we just arrest him, put him in prison, shut down his store, and open up across the street our own OTB. That's exactly what they did. They arrested him, put him in prison for a few years, closed his shop down, and within months, You saw beautiful off-track betting. Now legal, of course. So yeah, those are the, I could give you some stories and memories from back in the day with the horses. God damn. Are there prices for just the tech service for a full year without the conference calls? Yeah, hit them up. Hit them up. They got you. They got you. But during football, I'm telling you, you're going to want to be in here. I know it gets there's repetition, me talking about and going off on tangents and rants, and there's going to be live actionable information. Stuff's going to come in like right there. And again, we're set up so well now that you guys are getting the place so fast. But if you're live in here, you'll get it. Like you'll probably bet it before as I'm getting it, I'll have to be betting it, and you'll probably be like through 8 accounts or put it in the bot, and you'll be able to get it down on your own. So that's when you're going to want to be in the room, for sure. But if you can't, don't. You know what I mean? If it's a matter of price or whatever, we're going to be putting these out so you can watch them after. Like if it's as far as learning concepts, and when we get into more and more concepts as we get the money management out of the way, yeah, then you could just watch those too. So yeah, hit them up. They'll figure something out. Washington over 9.5. Plus 120. Yeah, I would bet it. I would bet it. I would bet the plus 120. I really would. I would go probably 3 or 4% play. So 0.75 or 1%. The other one Utah. If you could find a 9 on Utah. Utah's one that I really want to get money on under Utah, but it's just sitting at 8.5 at most places. But we'll see. Maybe some things change between now and then. Oh, units, again, if you're starting with 500, then your max unit is $5. Okay. So if you could bet, $3 on regular plays, $5 on best bets, that's what I would do. The most I would do is go $5, just bet $5. And if you have a best bet, like if you're so disciplined that you have, 3 a month, then, maybe make those $7.50 or $10 twice a year. But you can't go more than that, dude. I'm telling you, you can't. You're going to lose the 500 is what I'm saying. Like, please don't take this personally, but how many of those 500s have you lost in your lifetime? It's a matter of over betting, coupled with probably not having winning information. But if you take this 500 and you start betting $25, you're going to lose it. It's just a matter of time. Like maybe not this month, next month, but you're not going to turn that into 10,000. I wish you do. Maybe you hit a parlay. God bless you. I hope you do. I hope I'm wrong. But what I'm telling you is there's probably a 90% chance you're going to lose the 500. Probably a 5% chance you'll make a little bit off it. No, probably a 95% chance you'll lose the 500. About a 4% chance you'll make a little something on it. And maybe a 1% chance that you hit it, not even, what am I even saying, 1%, you're going to hit a $1 million score. No, but yeah, please, for you, don't do it for me, do it for you. They don't need your 500. So make them fight and scratch for it. And the only way you can do that, my man, is if you stay really small. Again, you can't change this, you can only change that. And the bet sizing that's the only way it's going to work. Let's hurry up. You were up 228 last year during what period? During the first half, I believe, that first 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, going into October. Like I said, I was first, second the whole year, bro, until we got to November. And I explained that story before, and it went bad. I can't. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. The only thing we could do is win back those losses, which we did, and keep going. No, great question. Is there a website you could use to source to make your own lines? No. Here's what I would urge you to do. If you want to start down that journey, just Google power ratings. Power ratings, NBA power ratings, NFL power ratings, whatever sport you want to start creating your own lines, start there. Start with power ratings. Even if you're using someone else's. There's some decent ones out there, none I bet off of, but they'll give you a range somewhere to start. you know. Yes, Google power ratings, like I said, NFL power ratings, college football power ratings. There'll be a handful of sites. So I would look towards more the math guys, not the flashy ones like the ESPNs, the Foxes. I would look for the math-driven ones, like a guy that has his own website, a smaller website, like someone that is an MIT grad, you know, one of those tech grads that is doing it as his hobby because he likes stats and data. There's a handful of those. I used to back in the day. The reason I say I wouldn't bet off them is because I did. Like, I used them as power ratings and just didn't have success with it. Thank you, Mario. He used to send emails complaining, and then you watch the video about doing it. I don't blame you, man. Listen, you got to blame somebody. And I feel the same way, honestly, even with that stock, because the one guy that taught me that trade of what to look for, I almost felt like blaming it. It's just normal. I don't hold anything against anyone that's ever bashed me on social media, that DM'd me bitching, that emailed WagerTalk bitching. Dude, that's your right as a customer. And obviously you weren't happy with the results. The only thing that I always asked is, like, understand, I can't time when someone decides to join, and I can't control how they bet size either. All I can do is put out my results. And if over that span that you bought, if I have positive results and you don't, then you may have to take a look at yourself a little bit. Now, if you join for a month and I happen to lose that month, then yeah, I deserve all the criticism. And the only thing I can do is explain to you that I can't guarantee it won't happen again. But if you look over a big sample size and you follow this is what happens. But yeah, that's okay. I'm glad that's what it takes sometimes. You just have that aha moment. That's what Mario said. He watched the Bankroll management video with me and Kelly. That's why I make that content. I do that. And because I think it's so important, even though I know everyone wants to watch free picks and free picks and free picks, I just think it's so important that people learn the risk management side before they even try to tackle picking winners. Because if you learn how to pick winners first, what are you going to do with them if you don't know how to bet them? And that's the problem I had. I had zero risk management because I didn't grow up with finance education. I didn't have anyone to teach me about finance and money management and risk management. And that was why I kept losing, even though I had winning information. Like I told you, dude, I had winning information and lost. I was a runner on the strip where I was getting information that is 10 times stronger than it is today. People didn't even have like line services back then. We were so far ahead of the market, and I still managed to lose money because I bet incorrectly. Like, it doesn't matter about the plays. The plays will not help you if you mismanage your bankroll. That's the point I keep trying to drive home, because I know if you can't handle that part of it, the pick part isn't going to do much. Whether I win or lose, your results are not going to be great. So please, thank you, Mario. Check those videos out. Go back. There's so many of them where we discuss risk management and volume, and even low volume, high volume. And if you apply those and keep practicing them, they'll become easier and easier. You'll mess up once in a while. Look, I did it with the trade. In 2023, we're in July. That's the first time I did it, okay? Where I didn't stop out when I was supposed to, when the chart told me to stop out. And instead, I was hoping. Hope is not a hedge. Hope is not a fucking hedge, okay? It isn't. Doing the right thing is the hedge. Doing the right thing always, 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 always. That's the play, man. That's the play. So thank you, Mario. I'm so glad you had your aha moment, man. And I can tell it's changed your life, because you're the gentleman that talked about how I'm up. Should I increase my bankroll? Should I increase my bet size? And that's normal. You should be feeling like that because we're doing so well. But please stick to it. Get this last 6 months out of the way, and then we're off to the next stage, Mario. We're off to the next stage, brother. And if you guys come to town, when we're had the get together, I'd love to meet anyone that comes to town, man. I hope we all get together sometime. What's my unit rating if I'm starting with 1,000? $2.50, $5, $7.50, $10, $12.50. That's it. If you're betting more than $12.50 on a 5% play, you're probably going to lose that $1,000 in a matter of time. Not, you know, within a reasonable amount of time, it'll be gone. I don't want that for you. That's why I have to give tough love. And I say this seriously because I care about you guys. And I don't want to see these books continue to take money that could go to other better things. Your families, charities, there's so many better places to put that money than to gamble it. Don't gamble it, dude. Give it to fucking charity. Give it to someone that needs it. Give it to your family. Give it to your friend. They'll do so much more with it than betting it on stupid shit. That's what the casinos want you to do. You see me doing any videos? No, because I refuse to tell people to parlay. They can't pay me enough. They can't pay me enough to tell you to parlay, to tell you to go tease shit. You don't think they DM me? I have, how many followers do I have? Social media influence. You don't think I've been hit up by every major sports book to do videos for them? Especially now with football coming. It's going to come again, another 10, 20 of them. Would you represent us? Would you do a video? Blah, 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 blah. Here's what we'll give you. Dude, can I speak the truth? That's the only thing I always ask. Can I speak the truth? None of them will agree to that. None of them. None of them are okay with that. You got to parlay, baby. You got to parlay. Keep parlaying. That's where the money is. That's what they want me to tell you. I won't do it. Again, they can't pay me enough. They can't pay me enough to do it, dude. They can't pay me. So that's why we're not doing it. And I wish I could tell you with that 1,000, you know what? Bet 50 on regular plays, bet 100 on your best bets, and let's double that shit up and keep moving. Nah, that's the fastest way to go broke, bro. You want to make money off your 1,000 and not lose it? At least put up a fight. You bet $2.50 on a 1%. Your own, not mine. Your own. $5 on a 2% play, $7.50, $10, and $12.50. If you don't have 5 different ratings for your own plays, just have a regular and a best bet. And what I would do with that $1,000 is I would bet about probably $5 on my regulars and just a few. And if I had a best bet, bet $10 and not change it. Do that for a year and see what happened. Because I'm not expecting to get rich off that 1,000, right? Like, you're not expecting to open a business with 1,000 and a year later be driving a Bugatti. Like, that's not the goal. So why would it even matter? Why would you care about watching the game, sweating the results? You're betting $5 and $10. The only thing you care about is, did you make enough trades? When all the dust settles, where are you at? Is your 1,000 now $12.50? If it is, you made 25% ROI in a year. Fuck, you're doing better than 99% of day traders. So you're doing great. Is $250 over in a year enough to live? Of course not. But again, you did better than 99% of day traders and sports bettors. And you should be proud of yourself. But we're not, because we're like, what's $250? You're not, you're looking at the wrong part of the equation. It's the 1,000 that matters. You started it with 1,000. What are you trying to make with 1,000? Again, do you expect to be driving a Bugatti if you open a business with $1,000? Of course not. So be happy making $200 in a year, $300 if it's your best year, shit, $500 if you're having our kind of year, and move on to the next one. Dude, that's the realities of this game. Or else take a shot like everyone else is doing and see how it turns out. Again, so far, Sportsbooks 1, bettor 0. That's what I've seen. Right now, it's Sportsbooks 1, bettor 0. Even the best of the tickets of the dudes that show like the $1 million fucking parlays or whatever. Oh my God. You know why they're letting you bet those kind of parlays? Because you lost a lot of money. Dude, I can't bet more than nickels and dimes. So believe me, you'll see during football. You'll see us moving some lines during football. It's going to be fun. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, wow. V, you're only 21 years old? Oh, dude, holy shit. Yeah, you're so far ahead of the game. And 10 years from now, forget about it. 5 years from now, forget about it. Oh, yeah, dude. Wow, 21. God bless you, bro. God bless you. Good for you. Arizona 4.5 plus 120. No, no, because I think five's that number, man. Five's that number where we get the push. Yeah, I wouldn't there. Thank you. Now, all right, let me go over the last few things before we shut this down because people asked for a couple things. Okay. Yeah, and again, please know your personality. Like some people can trade, some people are savers, and that's okay. Like if you're a saver and not a trader, then save your money, employ patience, work with time, use that as your greatest asset, and save. If you're a trader, then you have to be prepared to trade correctly. You want to be an active investor or a non-active investor. And if you're betting, you're an active investor. And I know that not everyone's cut out for it. And that's why, again, I'm trying to build this foundation of mindset and risk management so that those that are built for this and cut out for this actually prosper and do it the right way. So great job, man. Great job. The last thing, someone asked about, here's what I wanted to show you guys, asked about Masterworks. Here's what I want to show you because someone asked about this. Here's where you make your money at Masterworks. Okay. All right. I'll pull it up for you. Okay. Let me get that screen. Okay. All right. You see Masterworks? Okay. These are all paintings that I own percentages of. Okay. Here's where the money is. You go to trading. All right. See, because there's a second market. How Masterworks works is like this. Masterworks will buy a painting, and then you could buy a percentage of it. Okay. And then when they sell the painting, they chop up the proceeds. But the problem is liquidity. You can't get money out until they sell the painting. So there's paintings that they've held for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So what happens is people's lives change. Like, 3 years ago, someone might have been doing great, invested in a painting. Now all of a sudden, someone's getting married. They need some money for whatever reason. Their painting's not selling for who knows when. So what do? They come into this secondary market and they start trading their shares at a discount. So if you have time, here's a perfect example, okay? Perfect example. I could pull up so many of them. Right here, firm Basquiat. Here's a Basquiat that is going for $27 per share, right? Right now, this guy wants out for $21.50. You could buy his 115 shares for $21.50 for $21.50. Like huge discounts, huge discounts, some 20, 30%. That's though if you have the time. If you have time, because look, let's say here, if you bought these 115 shares, okay, at $21.50, it costs you $24.72.50. $24.72.50. Right now, what is the price of that Basquiat? $27.33. Okay, so now instead, if you bought those 100 and how many shares did we say? 115 shares. 115 shares at $27.33. What it's worth today is $31.42. So right now you could pay $24.72, pick up this guy's 100 shares, and it's automatic right away. It's worth $31.42. $700. About what, 20, 30, 25%? Because he needs liquidity. Now, sure, there's a risk. Next year it'll drop a little or go up a little, what have you. It's volatile. Things move up and down. They don't just move up. But what I'm trying to explain is there are so many opportunities like this where, Like this got $18. It's worth 22. This is what it's worth. That's what they're selling it at. You see these 25.68, selling for $20 right now. Only 1,250 shares for $20. This guy's selling them. Okay, 1,250 shares, 10,000. $325 real quick. Let's just do the math. What's it worth right now, we said? 25.68 times 1,250, 32,100. What a difference in price. Again, there's so many opportunities out there. The reason I brought that up is to show you that the goal is to use this as an investment vehicle so you can do other things. Like I don't just want you to sports bet. Like this should just be one of the avenues for you, one of your revenue streams. And that's what the casinos don't want. Again, that's why they want people so into this shit, man. Slow it down, slow it down. So again, for those of you that are interested, check them out. Definitely I wouldn't put more than, again, 2 to 5% of my net worth into something like that. But it's definitely worth it. Last but not least, I know you guys want to see it, so we'll pull it up. Let's pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick. Here's what it's doing. Let me clear my. Let's clear my old trend lines. All right. If you look at the daily, it looks like it's consolidating. See, what happened was it had dropped down to here. Remember, it was going down when we first started. The trend was down. And then BlackRock and a couple, Fidelity and a few other companies filed for their ETFs. And that's when we saw this 3-bar surge. Boom, boom, boom. Right there, you would expect a little drop, and we got one, but a small one. Since then, it's been trading in this same range, the exact same range, within $1,000. But the key is it's not closing above a key resistance. And here's what I mean. It's going up to that 31 range that it has to break, that 31,500, but it won't close multiple days. Like you'll see the wick go up to that 31, but the body will close below. In almost every case except here. We saw on what was that, the second? And there was decent volume where it climbed and actually closed above 31,000. It opened here, closed above 31,000. What happened the very next day? They drove it right back down below that 31.5, which is the key resistance. If you go back, you'll see there's where the key resistance is, where they start at the drop down. It's going to be hard to get through that. If it gets through 31.5 and closes through 31.5 multiple days, then it has a shot of a next leg up. But be very, very careful, because I think the higher probability with it not moving up like it should be is that we see it stop down. Look, we got a topping tail today on the 10-minute chart, and it's coming down. We haven't gotten a retrace. If you get a retrace back to 31.4, I would short this right here today if it came back up quickly. But even in the daily, we got a top and tail right here by a few dollars. Where this, you see that? And it closed here in the bottom quarter like it's supposed to. The bottom body's in the bottom half. We got the retrace here, back to 50% retrace, and it did what it's supposed to, drop. But now today, all of a sudden, it's back and kicking. But the problem is closing above the number. Like until it closes for multiple days above that 31.5, Yeah, I higher probability of a drop, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's so far above its 200-day moving average. So yeah, for the gentleman that asked me to pull up the Bitcoin chart, what I would do right now is I don't see, the only trade that I see honestly is on the 10-minute candles, a day trade. If you get a retrace up to about, yeah, 31.4, and maybe do a short right there, short it at 31.4, and probably bust out. Now, you know, not ask for too much on that trade. What is my burger still doing? These guys, sorry. You're killing me, Seth. You're killing me. All right. So looks like we're gonna wrap up. We went long. Good man with the long-term DCA. You can't go wrong. It is the future, man, but way down the line, and you know, government's gonna fuck with it a little bit. I wish you guys the best. So remember, stay the course. Baseball returns tomorrow. People are so excited to get firing. We're gonna stay selective, and the attention's gonna change. The attention's gonna start moving towards NFL, towards college football. That's gonna give us more opportunities in baseball, in MMA, in even WNBA, in Summer League, in those smaller markets. And then when all the public's unloading and affecting the market, we're going to stroll into the NFL and college football and just pick away at best bets. I can't wait for this winter. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you for your time. I hope you got something out of it. I cannot appreciate you spending that much time with me. I really do. And again, any questions you have, I'm here to answer. I'll give you my opinion, and I'll tell you what is factual and what's just opinion. And again, my only goal is for your results to reflect my own. That's when I know I'm doing my job, when you're actually up units like I am, and it's turning into real money. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. Forget the past, go forward. And remember, correct, don't repeat. We could all make mistakes. We just can't keep repeating them. I love you guys. Take care. We'll be back next week, bright and early. And before you know it, 3-4 weeks, well, within a month or two, we'll be going live on game day, where you'll really be seeing down. I'll be able to show you where the public's coming in. I'll be able to show you book bet, back ends. Wow, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just hang in there. Get the money management down between now and then. Make a little bit of money. Start getting your shit in order, because the best is still ahead of us. Thank you. Thanks again. God bless. Have a great day. Enjoy the day off, because I don't think we have much to give out today. We'll get those futures in the system. And other than that, keep moving forward. Thank you, guys. God bless. Have a good one.